Welcome to the Horror Friendly Podcast.
It's not over till that bitch is dead.
Let's delve into that a bit deeper.
I'm going to be like the peacekeeper between you two tonight.
Don't fuck with the original.
Yeah, don't fuck with the original.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Horror Friendly Podcast, part of the You Run Podcast Network. My name is Katie, and I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Chantal. Hi, Chantal.
Hi.
So we're going to be doing something a little different for you guys for the next month or so. We've decided to do a little mini-series covering some of the incredible films showcased at the UK Film Festival FrightFest. We're so excited to introduce you to these films and give you a bit of our insight. Thanks so much for listening and enjoy.
Okay, Katie, from Ireland to America to Sweden. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay, so the next film we are covering is In the Name of God, directed by Ludvig Gür. Priest Theodore stands by in horror as his wife falls seriously ill. His world is crumbling and he seeks guidance from his old mentor, who convinces him he's been chosen by God to rid the world of sinners to bring new life to true believers. With trembling hands, he commits his first murder, convinced he's on a divine mission. Miraculously, at the moment of the murder, his wife's health improves, and the congregation starts referring to him as the miracle priest. But lurking in the shadows is a disbeliever who uncovers the bloody traces of the priest's unholy deeds. So, what did we think of this one?
I really enjoyed this one. I really liked it. I thought it was kind of clever. I thought it was interesting. Wasn't really sure where it was going to go in parts. It definitely didn't know it was going to go the direction it did. I really enjoyed it. What about you?
I really liked this one, actually. I liked that they just get straight into it. Again, as somebody who's complained many times about the films being too slow, I love the half an hour in, so much has already happened. But you're right, I had no idea where it was going to go next, because I was like, but so much has happened. And as it says, you've got a priest who's trying to save people by ridding the world of sinners. What could possibly go wrong? That sounds great. I am all for this. So it's kind of hard to see how this could be bad. So you kind of build yourself up that this is this great thing, and then all of a sudden, a few twists and turns later,
yeah,
but it's just crazy. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's Sweden isn't known for being the most sort of Christian country either, so I thought it was a really interesting turn to have Christianity incorporated in sort of a Swedish film, because normally you associate sort of Sweden with paganism and things like that.
Whereas, I was trying to think then, I was like, fuck, what is I wasn't sure.
But you don't really tend to sort of think about Christianity in Sweden, so I thought that was a really interesting take for a film. And I thought the acting was really amazing as well, and just like you said, how I agree with you, how fast paced it is. It wasn't messing about.
But I liked as well, I accidentally was about to just be like, yeah, it does this, and I was like, no, that would be a massive spoiler. But as you say, I think it was so hard to guess kind of what's going to happen, and then it just ties it up so neatly in a bow at the end that it's it's so good, because you're just like, well, how did we get from here to there? I don't know. I just really liked it. And again, I can't say much because I'm gonna give spoilers away.
I know. Honestly, it is. It is one of those films that's quite difficult to talk about so openly. It's kind of like Never Have I Ever, where you really do have to be careful. I did recognize a couple of actors from the film Midsummer, from this film, which I liked as a little kind of I don't know, I just thought, oh, that's nice, I can see some familiar faces. But I felt like there were like quite a few plot twists as well. Like you weren't just kind of left with one. There was like loads of things you end up discovering. It's a bit of a head fuck. Well, obviously the plot itself does explain that obviously he does have to kill someone. In order for does it say in the description for his wife to get better?
Yeah, so it says, I'll give you the exact wording. With trembling hands, he commits his first murder. But it's all because he's convinced he's on a divine mission, chosen by God. So he's ridding the world of sinners to bring new life to true believers. So if you believe in God, good will come, and the priests will kill the bad guys.
Yeah.
Again, I'm okay with that. I'd go to church more if the priests were killing murderers.
Well, I think like as well, it does also, but at the end of the day, you're still killing someone. You're taking someone's life. And I think that's what it is. Like as a man of God, and he is just facing this other person and he realizes that he has to kill them. And it really does show like how desperate you have to be able to do that. Like what what desperation will do to you.
I think you're right. Because like to do that first act, you have to really believe it's going to work. Otherwise you are, you're giving up everything.
Yeah. And he had this, I'm not going to spoil it, but he had reason to believe that what he was being told was the truth. Yeah. So he was very convinced and like, he wasn't obviously convinced at the beginning, but like he was eventually convinced that like, this is what I must do. And that's kind of a scary concept, that if you put someone in that much of a brink of desperation, like you don't know what they're capable of.
Yeah, I think, again, the really good thing about this film is it does show that human nature, and it shows that, like you say, that desperation and that, you want to look after your loved ones, you want to look after, especially in a priest situation where it's like his congregation. So, if you find a way you can help people, are you going to keep trying? Like at what point do you give up? And again, I know we've already mentioned the show in the FrightFest special, but like Dexter, where it becomes like, well, is killing okay if you're doing it by a set of rules? And normally, like obviously Christians would say no, because it's 10 commandments and all that. So it's an interesting when you put a priest into that situation.
So interesting. And it's like, well, as we're talking about it, all these different scenes are popping up in my head that I would just love to talk to you guys about. But maybe one day we'll get Ludvig on and then we can actually properly talk about this.
I'd love to openly talk.
Yeah. But there are so many scenes and like so many things that happen. It's great. It's such a good film. And that ending was, there was a lot of kind of influences. I feel I was getting very much Ari Aster vibes, Midsummer vibes, particularly in that last half. I did think the ending was slightly frustrating for me. If you know what I mean. Is that too much of a spoiler?
No, and I think I have the same reason probably why it was frustrating. It just leaves you with an unknown. And I think that's, again, we've said that's a little bit hard. Hopefully that means maybe there's room for more. I don't know if they could tell. Like, I don't really think they could do a sequel, but no. I don't know. Again, I think I'm rambling.
No, well, I think it leaves a lot to the imagination, and I think sometimes with horror that is amazing and that's very powerful. But sometimes it's frustrating because you want the full story told. But I do also, on the other hand, think that like so much was said and done and kind of rounded off in the film that they could leave some room for questioning. I think they could afford to do that. But me just being impatient and just wanting to know got in the way a little bit for me. But that's a me problem, I
think cleverly, and again, I'm trying not to give spoilers, but I think cleverly they've probably already shown us the answers. It's just you may have to watch it more than once to kind of get them. And again, I may just have to say that off camera as to what the hell I'm on about. But I think this is definitely a film you'd get more out of every time you watch it.
100%. Yeah, I think you would pick up on things more.
Yeah. And I have a funny feeling there is a lot more in there that may actually answer those questions and tell us what's going to happen next without us having to see it.
That's very true. That's actually really true. I think that is a bit of a pattern with us. Like with a lot of these films, we are saying like, I'd love to watch it again. I want to revisit this scene or that scene to kind of piece it together. And I think this is one of them.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely one. I'm like, I'd have to watch this again. I'd love to watch this with some friends who I think are going to love it, but also one to see their reaction as a new watcher, but then to see what else I can pick up by comparison.
So when you say you want to watch it with some friends, and obviously we talk about who you'd recommend it to, why them specifically? Like, what do you think they'll love about it so much?
I think one, it sounds really cheesy, but it is so true. Like the look, I just think the way, like, it was absolutely beautiful. It was really stunning. I think the way it was sort of just filmed and like shown, I think is just really good. It's really like there was a lot of choices made that I think there was a lot of choices made that I think paid off. I think I'd like them to, my friends who are sort of like those sort of psychological films where you're trying to like not necessarily guess the ending, but you're trying to figure out what's going on, figure out, what reading between the lines sort of thing. And again, like films about like human behavior. So again, as we know, it's a priest in a really tough spot. So what do you do? As we said as well, like half an hour in, I'm already like, great. Like, I can't see anything wrong with this film. Like, the priest is in a great situation. So I'd kind of like to talk to them about that and just be like, not necessarily because I want them to watch the rest of the film, but just to be like, what would you do? And then we can keep watching. Because again, I think it's really interesting to have those conversations. Just be like, if you had to kill but to help people, would you do it? And those sort of horrible questions everyone asks at midnight around the pub and makes people very uncomfortable.
Yeah, but yeah, it leaves you with a lot of questions. There's a lot of discussions to be had, I think, after watching this film.
Yeah. What about you? Who would you recommend it to?
I don't think there's anyone that I wouldn't recommend it to. I think that it's just a decent film. I think that there has kind of something in there for everyone. And I just think everyone should give it a go if they can. I think it's really worth a watch.
So what was your wow moment from it?
Wow moment. There's literally so many popping up in my head.
Right.
I think it's going to be the penultimate bit. So just before the finale, where it all just fucking goes batshit and it just kicks off. There were quite a lot of moments that stuck out to me, but just that one, because I really just honestly didn't know where this was going to go. Sometimes with these kind of tense moments, you sort of think, okay, well, this is going to happen or that, and you kind of can guess. But with this, I was just clueless and I was just hooked into it. So I think it was going to be that scene for me. And I think when you guys watch it, you'll know which part I mean. But yeah, what about you?
I think I'm going to go the other end. I think I'm going to go like when the priest does his sort of first kill. Again, I feel like we have no spoilers, but that is kind of in the plot. I think when he does his first one, because I think the acting in it feels so real. Again, like as we said, he's been put in this really horrible situation. He's been put in this really what do I believe in kind of situation, and I think he plays that so well. And I think that whole scene is so powerful because it isn't just, oh, he killed a man. And I think that can happen sometimes in films where no one really cares about the person dying. Like, it's because we all know it's a movie. So I think with this, maybe you still didn't care about the person dying, but you really cared about the killer because he was showing so much. And it's so funny to be like,
such a good point.
The priest, the killer.
Well, no, that's so funny, isn't that? So different to normal horror films.
Yeah.
You're on the victim side.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So, what are you going to rate this out of 5?
I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 spookies. I really, really enjoyed it. Nothing more to say really. I definitely give it another watch. As you said, Tao, I think that there are definitely things that you could like watch and then pick up again if you watched it again. And I think like watching it with a couple like other people, I think would be really interesting because they might pick up on stuff that you may not have. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought the cinematography was amazing, and as you said, I think visually it was very stunning. I think Ludvig Gür did an amazing job of just making the whole film look so atmospheric and eerie. And I really enjoyed it. What about you?
I'm torn between a 4 and a 4.5, to be fair. I'm gonna go 4.5. Because again, I think it's one of those where very typically where you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to read the subtitles. You know, you kind of think it's going to be not hard work, but not as easy as just throwing a film on. But I could not step away. I was so invested. I was so, I just wanted to know what was going to happen next. I was just really enjoying it. And yeah, the subtitles, like you kind of just forget they're there after a minute. So yeah, I think I'm in 4.5 because I was like really pleasantly surprised at how quick it gets into it and just how good it was. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Nice.
But yes, I don't know when this one is coming out, but we will put down the director's Instagram or film's Instagram so that you guys can follow along. But do check out these films, any of the ones that sound up your street. Check out our other reviews so that you know more films that may be up your street, because honestly, we've seen some absolutely cracking films recently and we'd love to share them with you all when they come out, but do keep an eye on the socials for any release dates. Until then, enjoy.
Enjoy, guys. Bye.
Bye.